What's going on, guys? This is the 5 Yard Pause podcast with me, Suddy, and this is Shyam bringing you the roundup from the weekend from the Premier League. Lots and lots to talk about, I guess. United, Liverpool, Chelsea going strong. Brighton as well, to be fair, going strong. City stumbled again. Arsenal's recovering. Spurs just look. I mean, they've come Spursy a bit too early in the season, and I think it's taken shape much earlier than last season. I think it took a while to take shape. I think. Besides maybe Man City, who will catch up in the end. Yeah, look, I think the first biggest talking point is Liverpool. Um, they're showing, I wouldn't say much ruthlessness, but they're showing that Van Dijk was the missing piece, and Thiago Alcantara into form is what kind of is making them potentially title favorites again, next to Chelsea, I'd argue.
Yeah. I think that like for me at the moment, those big four are probably the four main threats. I think City and United are sort of a level below. I think Liverpool and Chelsea are sort of
Okay.
a level up. I think there's a bit of a gap between them. United just seem to be a bit too helter-skelter. City just seem to be a bit too opposite of helter-skelter. But Liverpool and Chelsea have got that balance right. They played really well, Liverpool. Like you said, it's almost as if they drew a line through last season. That didn't happen, and we're going forward again. And Alcantara's been the player that they thought he'd be. Um, uh, is Van Dijk's come in and done really well. Kanate, I was quite impressed with. That's the first time I've seen him play, and he just looked
Yeah,
class. He
yeah,
just looked really. He looked athletic too, but he was very classy,
yeah. No, he did play very well.
and had a good game. Um, Probably the one caveat I put on Liverpool's performance because they did deserve to win, and they did deserve to win 3-0. All the goals came from set pieces. You're not going to get three goals from set pieces in too many games, and
Mm.
if, Liverpool last season did have a tendency to get to the final third very well and sort of huff and puff a bit. It was more about converting those chances. So they had some really good play, clearly deserved the win and the scoreline. It's just the manner of the goals is not something I think that they could rely on week in, week out. You're not going to get multiple goals from set pieces week in, week out.
I'd like to see a milestone the Liverpool players Liverpool reached Salah and Mane as well. Salah reached the 100 Premier League goal mark. Mane reached the 100 Liverpool goal mark. I wonder how many sides have two players who scored more than 100 goals
Yeah,
for
it
that
would be
club.
it'd be very
Yeah,
rare, wouldn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it would be very rare. So it just shows the quality people. Mane has dropped off in the last season and a half, maybe season. But 100 goals for a club is it's nothing to be sniffed at. And obviously Salah as well the week before going into the so-called 100 club. I think the third or fourth fastest ever.
Fifth. Yeah, fifth.
Fifth. Okay, fifth. So Shearer, Aguero, Thierry Henry, Harry Kane, maybe.
Yeah.
I think I could get that right.
And
Something
and,
like
and,
that.
and to
Yeah.
put he's putting himself up there and not bad for a guy who was probably not bought to be a central striker. He was bought to
Mm,
be a bit more like Lionel Messi cutting in from a wide
mm,
position, a wide forward type player. But he's just
yeah.
created this position for himself and that left foot. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So it's
Do you
a
think because I think he's more in the mold of a Ronaldo in his type of play. I think he's high impact, very kind of.
the you're talking about the Portuguese
Is
Ronaldo.
he? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I am talking about Portuguese Ronaldo. I don't think Mane's sorry Salah's more is a magician the way Messi is. I think Messi is a better player than Ronaldo. I don't think he's.
Oh,
I,
I'm
I think I think everyone does. I just thought, as far as greatness goes, they're both at the same level. But I mean, I think Salah's more in the mold of a Ronaldo, high impact, as many goals as possible, um, and and you're seeing that now, and he's seeing that shift now.
I was talking more about Salah comparing to Messi more in terms of the position on the pitch,
Yeah,
as opposed to the
yeah,
type of player that he is. But you're right, he's a very efficient player, and that's
yeah,
more of a Ronaldo thing where Messi's a bit more about guile and artistry, whereas
yeah,
Salah and Ronaldo lean more towards output, goals, efficiency, yeah, that sort of thing.
yeah. All right, we shift over to Arsenal, man. A little bit of recovery going on. They just they just won the latest game, 1-0. I think Martin Odegaard scored. Um, where does it's a strange one, man. Like, where does this leave Arsenal? Do they go for a new manager? There was talk about Conte for a while. I just think, is this a case of, Villa win a mid-table club winning two games and they're gonna lose the next three? Because it's certainly a conundrum for me. I don't know where to put my kind of mark on Arsenal, where to put my pen on Arsenal.
The reality is they just beat the two teams that are 19th and 20th on the table. So it means that they're almost out of the relegation zone, frankly.
Yeah,
In terms of the fact that they needed the points and got them was good, but they beat 19th and 20th on the table, and Norwich are going to be a pretty poor 20th, I think. They look
yeah,
absolutely shocking. Losing that sort of spark up forward.
Mm.
I forgot the player's name. Sorry, Bardia, is it? Gone to Aston Villa, and
Oh
so
yeah,
they
Buendia.
Wendia,
Yeah.
sorry. So they look shocking. But Arsenal have got two 1-0 wins. They've got clean sheets. They've put a foundation in, and definitely Arteta has been able to play more of the players that he's wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting that I think the loss to Brentford really knocked them about because if you told me they play Chelsea and City in the first 3 weeks and lose to both, you go, okay, like it's not such a big deal. But that loss to Brentford, I think, has really created a whole essence of confusion that's really been compounded by not only the losses to City and Chelsea, but the manner of the losses. They were humiliated by both of
Mm.
those teams.
Yeah.
Chelsea could have scored five. City did score five,
Yeah.
and the reality of it is, I do think that they're. The funny thing is that they beat Brentford. They'd be 1 point off City, so points can be deceiving at this point in time in the season. But the reality to me is they look a mid-table side at the moment. I do think that they have the ability to grow. There's pieces there coming together. Gabriel played very well. I'm a big Thomas Partey fan. I'm a
Mm.
party boy, and I
Mm.
think that there's certain pieces that work well. Arteta's had gone and got these signings and spent the most money in the league, or the club has. He's got to be given the time to bring those guys in and to build something. But it's going to need patience from Arsenal, though, because they'll have to go. It almost looks like they've taken 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward.
Yeah, I think yeah, like it's a bit of a cliche, but kind of always dark is before the dawn. You as a United fan, went through some dark days signing those South American players for a while. Van Gaal with his sideways passing, perhaps wasn't as dire, but I think as a United fan, you can relate a bit more. Even Liverpool's had his dark days. I remember when Gillette was about to put the club into administration days before FSG bought them. So I think if you feel like you're at the bottom, that's the only I think that's the only kind of silver lining you can have. They're a top club. They're a top kind of club with a lot of money who can go back to the top. So that's the kind of positive thing. They're not building. They don't have to build as much as say I don't know a Leicester to go and win the league the way they did.
The interesting thing, I know we're talking about Arsenal here, but Gary Neville pulled up an interesting stat. He compared Klopp and Solskjaer's first 89 games in charge because Solskjaer had done 89 games at that point. This was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the stats were shockingly similar. But
Mm.
Klopp, I think, has done a very good job in terms of managing the media. He's always got a smile on his face. If he's angry, he's quite forthright and doesn't hold back. He, I don't think he's particularly open with the media, but he does give the appearance of being open, of being positive, and carrying himself in a way that can deflect from a lot of the scrutiny. Whereas Solskjaer has struggled with that. Arteta really struggles with that. Just
Mm.
and it's unfortunately for both clubs. Man United a bit more in the past, but Arsenal now there's that malaise on the club. Whereas someone like Ferguson and Mourinho is just, I don't care what you all have to say, pushes it back on people. People
Yeah.
handle it in different ways, and I think that Arteta has struggled to handle that.
Yeah, yeah. Let's shift over to the Manchester clubs then. To finish off, Man City looking a bit blunt up front. They got a bit lucky. Southampton, United, looks like Ronaldo's going to score every game, which he literally has. But they do look a bit chaotic at the back, which hasn't led to catastrophic defeats yet. Actually, hasn't also only led to the young boys' defeat because of a 10-man Jesse Lingard mistake. But just quickly, Man City, they need a striker, man, and I think more so than ever, they can probably get a cut price in Kane. The way Kane's playing, I don't know. What do you think on the point of Man City needing a striker more than ever?
Oh,
They
absolutely, they
started
need
the
a
season
striker.
banging.
They had 3 chances in the first half where they got in and behind the defense, and someone like a Ronaldo or a Kane would have just eaten it for breakfast, and they just couldn't put it away.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of players who can score goals, but when goals are hard to get, it creates a problem that you almost feel like you have to score the perfect goal every time. Sort of those
Mm.
latter day Arsenal teams under Wenger had that impression. They play good football, but they just found it hard to score goals. Whereas when West Ham went 1-0 up against United, what do United do? Ronaldo tap in goal. It changes the game. Sometimes you need easy goals. And City, they can score goals. They've scored as much as anyone throughout the course of the season, but you just get the feeling that they're going to need scrappy goals. They're going to need tap ins. They're going to need these types of finishes, and it's those goals that can be the difference between being fifth at the
See
moment and being first.
what's gonna happen, and this happened quite recently at United when we weren't scoring, especially under Van Gaal, late days of Mourinho, is that you start to burden Jack Grealish, Raheem Sterling, Mahrez with goal. Like they feel the burden for goals. I think psychologically, if I was them, I'm gonna go. I gotta go score goals now. I thought I was brought here to get 12 assists in the season. Now I gotta go score 5 to 10 extra more. I think that's the way I would see it. I don't know how Guardiola sees it. I wouldn't expect he sees it the same as I do. But
it's interesting that Gundogan had a massive season last season, and I think it'd be completely unrealistic for City fans to expect him to be at that output level. It was quite an abnormally high number of goals for a number 8. So to expect that again would be very difficult. And the thing is, as good as Jack Grealish is he going to produce more than someone else playing his position? Maybe a little bit, but at best, but not necessarily a lot. So the fact that they finished 86 points, they need to find another 8 or 9 points somewhere to be challenging for the title. You sort of need to be 90 to 95 points to challenge for the title. And that's where those cheap goals can make a difference in that regard. So you wonder where City's going to get that from. And you touched on Harry Kane. Geez, he's been quite anonymous, hasn't he? I don't know if his legs are gone because he played the Euros and the whole thing sort of got to him a bit mentally, but he just doesn't look like the Harry Kane of last season, does he? And I think it'd be very unfair to say that he's playing for a move. I don't think he's doing a Ben Simmons, for example. But this is a guy who'll give his best to the football club, but something's not right in his head, clearly.
Yeah, I think there's people touched on it for about a month and a half-ish now since he made that interview with Gary Neville. End of the day, man, like, critique him what you want. I do lean on the critiquing side of him coming out in an interview and saying he wants to leave the club. You're a human being at the end of the day, and I'd appeal to that kind of side of fans. Like, you're a human being. He probably looks back and like, I probably could have done this a bit differently in the PR sense of things. I probably should have gone to Levy myself. All this guy. Levy's the ultimate businessman, perhaps the best chairman in the Premier League in terms of getting what he wants, financially speaking. So I think to lay off him will be the best course of action, because I have no doubt. I think by October, November, you'll start seeing this flurry of goals that's going to start coming for club and for country. Last thing I want to talk about, Shyam, the fixtures this weekend, not in depth, but just kind of the big one. Chelsea, Man City. United play Villa. It's kind of it'll be a good game. But Chelsea, Man City, the big one. I just want to touch on Chelsea in the last few minutes. They're looking good, man. And I think you talk about Liverpool being on the same. I don't think Liverpool's on their level. I think Chelsea's a cut above at the minute.
I do think Chelsea.
Sorry, just give me a second.
Sorry.
I just think I was just sorry. No, it's okay. So I was just talking about. I'm referring to the game of the weekend when they beat Spurs 3-0, making that little tweaks, little adjustments, and just bang. I was impressed by Tuchel, I have to say. I wasn't a believer 8 months ago when he was replaced, when he replaced Frank Lampard. I didn't even think he should be replaced, but Frank should be replaced. But yeah, no, I've been wrong the whole time.
Sorry, you cut out there a bit, hence I interrupted. But yeah, I mean, firstly, that style that he plays, that sort of, it's a bit more possession focused than other Chelsea managers, but Chelsea seem to be like that ideology, that sort of Mourinho, get yourself 1-0 ahead and strangle the life out of the other team. They seem to do it in a different way to Mourinho, because Mourinho relied a lot on physicality, guys like SCN and Drogba and Terry Carvalho, whereas Chelsea do it by moving the ball. And their ball movement was a little stunted. I saw the highlights. I remember I was reading a really good article about it, where it looked like Mason Mount was just occupying a slightly higher position on the pitch, which allowed Tottenham to press a bit better. So when Conte came on, he naturally occupies a slightly deeper position, and he's also good at breaking up play and distributing the ball. So just that switch just changed things, and he ideologically he seems to be a Chelsea manager, doesn't he, Tuchel? The fact that he's come in so quickly and imposed a style of play that focuses on clean sheets, focuses on control, even though, like I said, it's not Mourinho style, but it is control, and that's what Mourinho likes as well. I think he's done really well. And one thing I wanted to say about Chelsea, I sat here a bit before and I wrote off Kovacevic. He's playing really well. He's coming of age now. He's sort of that 23, 24. He's played for a lot of big clubs at a young age. He's growing up, and I think that he could become a very important player for both club and country, because in his country, Croatia have a lot of technically gifted centre midfielders that are getting on a bit. He could become the next Croatian golden boy. And Croatian footballers are rightfully very well respected in world football.
Yeah, I like the point you made. I do think Tuchel is the modern day Chelsea manager. Comes in almost, if not a ready-made squad, and just immediately hits the ground running. Very few Chelsea managers have done that. We all know one who did straight away. Kind of the first of the many who were fired. But I think Tuchel could prove himself to be one of the longer serving managers at Chelsea. I'm truly impressed by him, by his tactical nuance, by everything he does, his approach to the media, and his really really attractive wife. So yeah. Anyway, any closing? I know we really talked about the big five stuff. We wanted to talk about the smaller teams, but I think we'll wrap it up there. The Chelsea Man City is going to be an exciting game this weekend. Liverpool playing Spurs as well, which is always a good game. But I think these two teams are going to march to bigger and better things as the season goes. I think you're going to see a break between them and the rest, and the other two and the rest. Yeah,
and that will happen. Brighton at the moment they've scored a couple more goals than we expected them to. They struggled to score goals last year, although the rest of the team was working well. But they're scoring enough now. I don't know if they will come back to the mean or keep going, but I do. They're probably the only thing between the top four being, running clear of everybody else. It seems to have taken place quite early. A lot of teams really, those big forwards sort of duking it out amongst themselves. The one thought I wanted to leave you with, did you see the Chelsea-Tottenham game?
No, I didn't get to see it, man.
Have you seen Thiago Silva? He looks like a Bond villain, man.
Oh yeah, with the blonde hair. You mean?
Yeah, the tan and the blonde hair. There's like a
I'd veer to porn star.
The second Pierce Brosnan movie, the one with Terry Hatcher in it.
Tomorrow Never Dies, I think.
Yeah, there's a bad guy there, who has his tan with blonde hair. It just reminded me of Thiago Silva.
Oh, I have to see this now. Let's. Is it Tomorrow Never Dies? Or is it GoldenEye?
No, GoldenEye's the first one. Tomorrow Never
Die
Dies.
Another Day. That's the one.
Die Another Day. Yeah, the one with Michelle Yeoh and Terry Hatcher. Yeah. It's not the bad guy, but he's number two. The guy who fights, because the bad guy's like a media mogul, and then the number two is like this.
How do you
heavy
remember
guy.
this, man?
He just reminded me that this tan guy with prox-sided hair. Yeah.
I can't find it right now. But yeah.
Put it on the video.
The thumbnail.
The thumbnail. I sent you a pic.
All right, boss. Yeah. All right, boss. Closing thoughts. I'm excited. It's going to be a good weekend of football. Honestly, it is truly a pleasure to have Ronaldo back and scoring, and it seems that the league is as competitive as it's been. Not competitive, as high quality as it's been in a long time. I go back to maybe the mid to late 2000s when the English teams were dominating the semi-finals of the Champions Leagues. I think you're going to see a lot of that type of domination in the next few years to come. Anyway, pleasure as always, Shyam. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. We are the 5 Yard Pass podcast. My name is Suddy, and this is Shyam. Keep football simple, and as always,
keep passing, guys. Cheers.